Rain lashed the Tesla dealership's windows, blurring the glossy electric cars into streaks of color. Inside, 78-year-old Walter Pritchett stood at the counter, calloused hands trembling as he slid a faded leather wallet across the desk. The clerk stared at its contents: a stack of wrinkled bills, 3 maxed-out credit cards, and a photo of a woman with a handwritten note. "For our future, Walt. I've been saving 12 years, Walter said, voice cracking. "Just need a little more time, please." The clerk sighed. "Credits denied. Maybe try a used Honda?" Walter's shoulders slumped. He tucked the photo back, eyes lingering on the Model S in the showroom. Her favorite color, sky blue. Outside, a black Cybertruck screeched to a halt. Elon Musk strode in, trailed by aides. He'd stopped to inspect customer experience, but his sharp eyes locked onto Walter, now shuffling toward the exit, head down. "Sir." "Wait." Walter froze. Musk approached, studying the old man's frayed NASA sweatshirt, the 1969 Apollo 11 patch sewn on the sleeve. "You're Walter Pritchett," he said suddenly. "You designed the Saturn V's guidance system." Walter blinked. "Howdy. I read every NASA report from the 60s. Musk's tone softened. "Why this car?" Walter's jaw tightened. "Made a promise. To my wife. Before she—" He trailed off, clutching the wallet. Musk glanced at the clerk's screen. Denied. His lips thinned. "Come with me." Musk led Walter past the gleaming Teslas into a private lounge, its walls lined with blueprints of rockets and electric trucks. Walter's eyes lingered on a framed Saturn V schematic. "You miss it?" Musk asked, pouring 2 coffees. "The thrill of bending physics?" Walter stiffened. "I retired decades ago. My hands shake too much for equations now." He gestured. To his frayed sleeves, Musk slid a tablet across the table. On screen, a Tesla prototype with solar-powered charging ports and a navigation system stuck in endless calibration errors. "Your Apollo guidance codes were flawless. Fix this, and the Model S is yours." Walter's laugh was bitter. "I'm no charity case. I don't want pity." "Pity?" Musk leaned forward. "This system's failing because my engineers forgot one rule: simplicity. You built tech that survived 238,900 miles of space. Teach them. Or let pride bury. Your wife's dream." The words hung in the air. Walter's throat tightened. Outside, a black sedan idled. Inside, a shadowy figure zoomed in on Walter's face with a long-lens camera. The Tesla R&D lab hummed with silent judgment. Engineers in black hoodies eyed Walter like a relic as he fumbled with the prototype's touch screen. His fingers, stiff, with arthritis, mistyped equations. Someone snorted. Musk silenced them with a glare. "He debugged code before your grandparents were born. Watch. Learn." Walter's face burned. He closed his eyes, hearing her voice. "You're not old, Walt. You're classic." Margaret, his wife, who'd marched for climate laws until her lungs gave out, who'd whispered, "Promise me an electric future," on her deathbed. He opened his eyes and bypassed the touch screen entirely. Grabbing a screwdriver, he pried off the solar port panel, revealing a maze of wires. Saturn V didn't need Wi-Fi, he muttered, reconnecting a severed cable. The prototype's dashboard flickered to life, displaying a flawless lunar surface map. The engineers froze. "Navigation runs on Apollo 11's star tracking algorithm," Walter said quietly. "You tried to update what already worked." Musk's grin was electric. "Told you, genius." But outside, the black sedan's window rolled down. A gloved hand tossed a small device under the prototype. The prototype's headlights flickered. Walter crouched, spotting the device. A magnetic tracker, its LED blinking red. Too simple for a bomb. Too obvious for pros. He yanked it free, his mind racing. Margaret's voice echoed. "They'll try to scare you, Walt, but fear's just noise. A memory flashed. Margaret hooked to oxygen, her hand squeezing his as rain tapped her hospital window. "Promise you'll keep fighting, even if I'm not here to nag." She'd laughed, then winced. "Tesla's the future, our future." "Mr. Pritchett?" An engineer pointed at the tracker. "Should we call security?" "No." Musk appeared, jaw tight. "They want us rattled. Keep working." But Walter's hands shook. He hid them in his pockets, fingering Margaret's photo. Focus. Finish. The prototype's navigation system suddenly pinged. A lunar terrain map auto-loaded. Flagged Project Artemis. Musk stiffened. "You weren't supposed to see that." Before Walter could ask, Musk's phone buzzed. A clipped voice warned, "Cut the old man loose, or we leak his dead wife's secrets." Musk ended the call, his face pale. Walter had never seen him look afraid. "What did they mean about Margaret?" Walter demanded, stepping closer. Musk hesitated, then pulled up a file labeled Project Artemis, a covert Tesla-NASA initiative to build a solar-powered Mars rover using repurposed Apollo-era tech. The prototype's navigation system was its core. "Your wife testified against Petrogrid Oil in 2008, Musk said quietly. "Leaked documents proving they buried climate data. They vowed revenge." Walter's blood ran cold. Margaret's final days flooded back, hushed calls, men in suits tailing her hospital room. "Just activists," she'd lied. The tablet pinged. A video appeared, security footage of Margaret's hospital bed, Petrogrid's logo stamped in the corner. The timestamp, 1 hour before she died. "They'll frame her for hacking government servers," Musk said. "Unless I fire you," Walter's fists clenched. "So fire me." "No." Musk slammed the tablet down. "They'll come. For you next. We end this." But the prototype suddenly beeped. A radiation alert. Walter's old instincts kicked in. He ripped open the solar panel, revealing a secondary circuit board glowing unnaturally. "This isn't ours," an engineer breathed. The tracker had been a decoy. The real sabotage was already inside. The circuit board pulsed with a sickly green light. Walter's fingers flew across the wiring, tracing paths only he remembered. "It's a data siphon," he muttered. "Feeds Artemis's specs to Petrogrid. Radiation's masking the signal." Musk barked orders. "Isolate the lab. Cut all networks." Too late. A voice crackled from the board's hidden speaker. Petrogrid's CEO, Victor Hale. "We've already got what we need, but here's a gift. Footage of your wife's last moments." The lab screens lit up. Margaret, frail but fierce, typing furiously on a laptop in her hospital bed. "They're coming for you, Walt," she whispered to the camera. "I won't let them." Walter's legs buckled. She'd hacked Petrogrid's servers that night. "To protect him," Hale sneered. "She died gasping, just like Artemis will." The circuit board's glow intensified. 14:59. "Self-destruct timer," an engineer panicked. "It'll take the lab with it." Musk gripped Walter's shoulder. "Shut it down, your way." Walter closed his eyes, summoning 1969. Margaret's laugh, the smell of rocket fuel, the click of a mechanical switch. He jammed his screwdriver into the board's core. Sparks flew. Screens died. The countdown froze at 0.07. Silence, then applause. The engineers stared at Walter, awed. But Musk paled. "This was a decoy. Hale wanted us distracted. The real attack's elsewhere?" Walter stood, Margaret's defiance coursing through him. "Then we hit back, harder." Tesla's Nevada Power Grid Control Center buzzed with panic. Screens flashed red as Petrogrid's malware siphoned megawatts into overload. Engineers scrambled, helpless against the invisible siege. Musk's helicopter touched down in a sandstorm. Walter clutched Margaret's old briefcase, stuffed with Apollo schematics and her handwritten journals. "They're hacking through firewalls," Musk shouted. "We need a physical kill switch." Walter stared at the chaos. Margaret's words flickered in his mind. Sometimes progress means stepping back. He sprinted to a rusted utility panel, yanking it open to reveal analog circuits untouched since the 1980s. "The grid's backbone runs on relay switches," he barked. "Petrogrid can't hack what they don't see." Musk tossed him a crowbar. "Do it!" Walter jammed the tool into the panel, rerouting power through mechanical relays. One by one, screens died, replaced by spinning dials and needles. The malware stalled, choking on simplicity. A roar filled the room as backup generators kicked in. The engineers gaped. Victor Hale's face exploded onto a surviving monitor. "You think you've won? I'll burn her legacy to—" Walter unplugged the monitor. "No speeches," he muttered. But Margaret's journal fell open, revealing a sketch. A Saturn V engine modified for solar thrust. Musk's eyes lit up. "The Artemis rover's core. We build it now. Use her design." Walter hesitated. Margaret's notes were theoretical, untested, dangerous. A tremor shook the building. Across the state, transformers exploded as Petrogrid's malware regrouped. Walter grabbed a welding torch. "Where's your workshop?" The Mojave Desert swallowed the sun as Musk's convoy raced toward a hangar half buried in dunes. Inside waited the Artemis prototype, a Tesla rover grafted to a skeletal Saturn V engine, its solar panels glinting under emergency lights. Margaret's sketch had come to life. "Fuel cells at 12%, an engineer warned. "We need hours to calibrate." Walter ignored him, welding the final battery array into place. His hands didn't shake now. Margaret's equations burned in his mind. Thrust-to-weight ratio, 1.2. Ignition sequence, analog override. Musk gripped his shoulder. "Launch now. It's a 50-50 shot." Walter nodded. She always loved long odds. Petrogrid's drones struck at sunset. Missiles screamed toward the hangar. Musk's team fled as fire rained down. Only Walter stood firm, hunched over Margaret's ignition console, a rebuilt Apollo command module. Hale's face filled a cracked monitor. "You lose, old man. Again." Walter didn't look up. "Margaret beat you once. I'm just finishing the job." He pulled her gold wedding band from his pocket, slotting it into the console. Her final failsafe. The engine roared to life. The Artemis prototype surged skyward, solar, panels folding into wings. It pierced the drone swarm, its thrust wave scattering fire. Below, Tesla's power grid rebooted, guided by the rover's signal, clean and untouchable. Hale's drones faltered, his screens filled with Margaret's leaked files, broadcast globally. Oil spills, bribes, murder orders. "No," Hale choked, as police sirens wailed outside his mansion. Walter watched the rover vanish into the stars, Margaret's ring still glowing in the console. Musk stood beside him, voice uncharacter softened. "It'll reach Mars in 39 days. Her name's on the hull." Walter smiled. For the first time in years, he felt no ache in his hands. 1 year later, Walter sat on a porch swing, Margaret's journal open on his lap. The news played quietly. Petrogrid dismantled. Artemis rover successfully powers first Martian colony. A blue Tesla Model S rolled up the driveway. The door opened. "Delivery for Walter Pritchett," the driver said, tossing him the keys. Under the visor, a note, "Never bet against Classic." E.M. Walter traced the car's flawless paint, sky blue, and let the desert wind dry his tears.